so we're back with another video. This one's going to be about a trailer. I noticed my channel has deviated a lot from its roots of electronic repairs, but you know, I never really had a set theme. This is just stuff that gets repaired and fixed and stuff that I do. So some time ago I turned this into a camper trailer. It's a folding hard-sided camper. It was a budget solution to a problem when I only had this guy. But now that we have the ambulance over the back here, we have no troubles with camping. And I need the use of this trailer for other stuff. Namely, getting rid of all this rubbish that's in here. I need to take that away to the appropriate areas or facilities. I will come up with the correct terminology when I eventually get around to writing scripts for my videos. Anyway, we've got to move this guy around here because my apprentice wants a cubby house. And so the module that can pretty well just lift out of that if we had a crane is going to become her new cubby house. Now, I am going to have to fix that soon. I touched it today and things went wrong. The handbrake now doesn't work and the alternator is making lots of noise. We have a spare alternator, but the handbrake is going to require me to pull the entire dash out to get the piece of plastic covering off just to get to the handbrake. I do not like Jeeps. Land Rovers, on the other hand, yes, they have their share of issues, but these apprentices have proven themselves far more reliable than most vehicles that I've had. So we're going to get around and move this guy. So let's figure out what we can do with some of the junk on the top and relocate this. See if we can get away without smashing up the Jeep. It's somewhat more fragile than a Land Rover. Right. There's that hole. I balanced this pretty well. You can lift it with a couple of fingers. Here's not that glamorous, but you know, if we live on a budget. Alright, so this is the camper with the lid off, or the canvas. Packs up fairly neatly and it's designed to unpack in a number of different ways. There are a couple of episodes on this. I'll try and stick those links in the description. And this was about a year and a half ago, maybe nearly 2 now with lockdown. It was a solution. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. And it was quicker than an Oz tent to put up. But yeah, it has its design flaws. Anyway, I had intended to use these double pulleys and some rope to lift this whole thing up and out in its folded state. But I've decided that might be unwise given the amateur nature of whoever built this covered area. So I think I'm just going to dismantle it in pieces and reassemble. Hopefully I get it right. Anyway, I'm going to get this unpacked. I'm going to try and use surveillance footage here in time lapse to keep you up to date with what I'm doing. Now we have this partially propped up because height is a bit of an issue here. Normally when you would set this up, the bar and the canvas off the roof or off the top of this trailer here would form the roof of the camper. You'll also notice I'm using hinges in wrong orientations and places. That's because I had a humongous load of hinges, about 18 kilograms worth, and I didn't have much else to work with, so I used hinges for a lot of this. And these little brackets on the door corners and stuff. There's a few bits and bobs I probably need to change, but in the meantime, I just need to get this disassembled. So in order to take this section off the hinges, I need to remove the canvas off first. So that's screwed down and covered by tape. So I'm going to get that removed, and we'll get going from there. Alright, so now we need to undo these hinges under here. This is the tricky finger crushing bit. Now I've got it set up such that the way it's propped, they should stay resting where they are, but I don't know. This wasn't part of the design, was disassembly. These tarps were designed to be unscrewed and readily removed so that I could find replacement tarps in the field very quickly and easily and cheaply. But this side of it I hadn't intended to undo. But it's not glued anywhere, it's only screws, so it should come apart relatively easily. So we'll learn from this, and hopefully I don't lose my fingers. Alright, so sometimes disassembly can be trickier than assembly. So I've had to move things around a bit. But let's see if it falls over. The 3 screws to go. One more. Right, all the screws are falling down the bottom now. Now, let's have a look. These hinges are stopping it from coming forward. Maybe I can hinge it down on its original hinges, lower it down and then lift it sideways. Might be the way I have to go about it. I'm going to have to move this camera though. So typically, just like my apprentice, right as I'm at a critical point, local wildlife demands being fed. So the wattlebird here, he's got chicks to feed. And he was wandering around chuckling, getting upset at me because I'd changed things around and the bird table wasn't where it should be. Anyway, he's happy now. Now I've got to figure out how to lower this down. Okay, after a bit of thought, I'm going to lower it down with a rope. So let's change our camera angle here and let's see if I can break my GoPro. Alright, that went down alright. Now to figure out how to get it off the top. So we've got the front and back off. Now I've just got to get the base out. That could be easier said than done. It is designed to lift out, but I may need to get a hydraulic jack in there to do it. I'm going to take a breather for a few. Right, well the base is out and my trailer is free, as we can see. There's still a few things in here like the rubber lining, but yeah, I have my trailer back. That's a good feeling. That's been a couple of months in the making. Cleaning up this back area is going to be another month in the making, I'm sure of it. And I've got that thing because I've got oil changes to do and I've been putting that off. Anyway, so the next problem I've got is reassembling this. And when I assembled this in the first place, I used my plank of wood in here and the drawbar to hold ropes up to prop everything up. So I'm not sure how that's going to work at the moment. I'm thinking I might wrap a rope around the roof here to hold things up and see how that goes. It's going to be interesting. All right. I'm going to do some thinking and just take this slow. Alright, that's the first side up. Now, some of you at this point are probably going to get worried that I might crush my apprentice in here. There's two reinforcing bars that go across the top. Normally they're held in with steel pins. But in this case I'm actually going to put big long wood screws through because this is going to be a permanent fixture. Won't need to be held up. There's also bracing points in the middle for cross bracing to add extra rigidity to it, and that stops it from collapsing in. So there are multiple redundant measures. I want to get around to adding a roof to this because I will be recycling the canvas in the bar. The roof will add further rigidity to the structure. But anyway, I'll show you where I'm at. I'll probably even add some shelf brackets, reinforced shelf brackets in the corners just for quadruple safeness. Okay, so the camera's stuck to one of the hinges that I've used as a brace on the top of this. I've used the four-way block and tackle setup that I've got on the roof. So hopefully we should be able to get this up and in place. Let's see how we go with this one. This is only fine too. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. It started leaning. Alright. Need to get this mostly positioned. Here we go. A lot of aircraft today, but it's a nice sunny day, so visual nav is easy. Come on. Right, that's positioned that one nicely. This is why I use Robertson screws, also known as square drive. You can set them on the end of your driver and wave it round, and they don't fall off. Which makes tricky constructions like this a lot easier. Right, now I'll go put a bit more tension on that rope and I'll get the financial manager to assist me with the top plates. It's alright. Now, at this point, the astute among you may notice it looks a little bit like a parallelogram. You'd be right, there's still not much holding it in position. I've got to get these tarps screwed on first, then I can get the tension right, and after I do that, then I'll put the cross bracing in and I'll start putting shelf brackets and additional reinforcing in. And I'll put some big wood screws in place of the loose pins that I've got in here. Until that time, I'm going to leave it roped to the roof. We're doing well. We're going to lose a bit of our vision through our laundry window here, but fun fact, if you're on the street, you can actually see through a little narrow gap all the way through to our toilet, which is through there. So this solves some of that privacy problem as well. And we have a window here. We can see through the kitchen window. We can see what our apprentice is doing. And she can open the door, clear out to the backyard. I'm getting tired. I think it might be coffee break time. Alright, so I'm getting nervous about this falling on top of me, so it's cross bracing time. Yeah. Now, this is not the be all and end all of cross bracing, but it does help stop it falling on me whilst I get everything else secured. The sides do actually form a partial structural point, but I want them to be nice and taut so they don't flap. So at this point I've got a bit of flexibility to move stuff around so that I can get the screws exactly where they were beforehand. And after that, then I can pull everything tight and start adding brackets and screws. Alright, so that's one side on. You'll notice there's a hook on the top. That hook is designed to hook up to the middle loop of the tarp to pull it tight at the top. That should get it nice and square. But for now I need to put that top piece in place and get them pins secured. And then once that's secured, the whole thing should be a little bit more solid and I can pull the thing away from the wall and do the tarp on the other side. That I'm going to do off camera because it's really hard to get a camera shot. Once we're done with that, then I'll come back to the rest. Alright, so I'm making progress. Let's pick my magnet mount up here. We still have to hook this up on the top plate and drop these pins in the correct position, but the rear tarp is on. Cross bracing's a bit loose until I tighten it up. We'll put the dowel in for the curtain up the back there, although that may get removed depending on how she handles that privacy. Fold down shelf is still intact, I'm happy about that. And I have some boards I found that are surplus from a set of shelves I bought. I used the racking on that to put the solar panels on the roof of the ambulance. So the boards are surplus, they might make a good roof. Worst case scenario, she does have a bit of skylight here. I could leave this open, it's undercover already. And she's raised up off the floor, so the days when all the wind and water flows in under here, stuff she leaves in here will be up off the floor. So, which was the whole idea in the trailer anyway. That, and they had to straddle the wheel arches. Alright, I'm getting tired. Definitely a cup of tea and a break time. Alright, so now we move on to the safety. I found a couple of these things. These are reinforced brackets. I have a metric crap ton of these little angle brackets that aren't very reinforced, but if I get two of these, I'll start with these, and if the other ones don't do the job, then I'll buy a couple more of these. Now I found a bunch more of these these Maxim Robertson screws. I would really love to find a supplier of these. I bought a box of 1,000 of them before my local hardware shop went out of business, and I can't find them anywhere. Just like my drill, which is MIA. Probably outside. It was indeed outside. And this is attached to the door of this camera. Let's take one of our brackets. Now this could be interesting to see if we can get a camera angle on this, so you might not see very clearly what I'm doing here, but I'm putting, you know what, I'll do this off camera because there's not many places to mag mount a camera in here, and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, we're up in the corner. Now, it's worth repeating for people that skip through this video, this is not the only thing holding this on. If we climb up over the top here, there's a big steel pin that drops all the way through down to about here. And there's big rods all the way through this as well, and big wood screws. So this mostly serves to stop that lifting up and coming out of the pin, and it also adds a bit of angular rigidity. I've done the same thing on all four corners. These are the cross braces. These help stop the racking, and the tarp is just a final additional bit of structure, but it's not reliant on that. That's only just in addition to these other three methods that we have. On top of that, I will probably come back with some wood glue. I'll lift this up temporarily, shove some wood glue under there, and put a big wood screw all the way through all of that. We have a bit of roof to go on soon too, and we may even put another little angle bracket here. I have thousands of them, so I might add some more. Anyway, I'm getting the shakes. It's time to stop again. All right, found some 30mm screws. I think my apprentice might have seen what I'm doing. Alright, I'll finish this and we'll get a reaction. Alright, so we're mostly set up. I need to deal with this excess on the bottom. Traditionally I rolled that up. I might cut it off and staple gun it down. But for now I'm not going to worry too much. In here we'll work on the seating arrangement in a bit. Need to move my ladder out of the way and then we'll get inside. Alright, so we're inside and I have the other curtain rod to put back on, so we'll restore the curtain. This shelf retracts magnetically, and I've got some little LED puck lights, but what I might do is install some 12 volt LED stripping in here and tap off the 12 volt solar system. Works relatively well. There's nice airflow coming in underneath. These were designed as mozzie screens. I will again get a staple gun and staple gun them around the sides, seal it up a little bit. And it means later on if we want to put an actual floor in here, we can just dump it straight across the bed slats here. So I best get this curtain in, and my apprentice has spotted what I'm doing, so I need to get this done and do the reveal for her and see what she does. Okay, apprentice, you want to see what we're going to do for your cubby house?
Yeah.
Let's see what we did. We've got to do some more cleaning up. There's a few more things to finish. But this is the old camper trailer. It is now your cubby house. Here you go. Let's see if you need a set of steps to get in. Well, you're a little monkey. You'll probably find a way in.
I maybe need some beds in here.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Hey, I'll put some lighting in for you as well. And you've got a window you can see through the kitchen. And a curtain and a folding shelf.
Oh, there's a handle.
Yep.
But
you'd remember sleeping in this. We'll figure something out. It's not quite finished yet.
But actually, should you set the beds?
Hey, the beds are being used in the ambulance as Mummy's bed now.
Aww.
So we might put something else in there for you. So I've got a demand list of beds already.
Maybe try making your own.
Yeah, I don't have anything to make my own with. But we might be able to find some foam mattresses or something to stick in there. Anyway, we're going to keep working on it. Alright, well I'm pretty well going to conclude this episode here. Largely as I need to do a trip to Bunnings and it's a grand final long weekend. I'm not going near the place. But there will be more to fix up around the edges. I'll add some bigger brackets in just to quintuple the structural integrity because I'm paranoid about these things. And I might put some double plates on the other side here just so that it can't hinge inwards again ever. And yeah, my apprentice has two demands. She wants mattresses and flooring in here, so we can probably arrange that, make it a little bit more homely. It does look a little ramshackle, but it did when I built it. But I don't know how much use she's going to get out of this. Probably limited stuff. I always had problems with the design with water getting in, so I made this improvised door seal. It may work, it may not, I don't know. It's all pretty much house paint on MDF. But anyway, if she gets a bit of use out of it before I have to dismantle it, it's all right. But I'm expecting judgmental people in the comments, so we'll see how that turns out. I'm going to pull the ropes off and stuff, and the roofing is all very firmly screwed down. She's got a little bit of an overhanger veranda. The gap on here is deliberate. That allows convection current to create airflow up and through. So she does something silly in here, it's pretty hard to suffocate yourself, along with the gaps here. That's also why this is undercover. Originally the canvas off the trailer that forms an A-frame would cover up this and it would create a little air gap, but it would keep the rain out. This is not in direct weather anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. Well, it's structural 4x2 pine, so it should be hopefully quite sturdy. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll get on to more interesting stuff soon enough. I have a lot of cleaning to do though. But at least my apprentice is happy. And she's got a place for a new unicorn bird. Anyway, see you later.